Hey everyone, welcome to the first ever podcast of OnPoint. I'm Burhan, the host today, and I'm super excited to kick off this with a very good friend and also amazing client, Lukas Martin, a guy behind Martin Photography. He's a real estate photographer who is seriously changing the game and like how to present houses online. And we are going to talk about storytelling through photos, videos, and visual representation of properties, houses in Ohio and Florida, right? And how we have learned up to grow his business. So today, none other Lucas Martin. Welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you for having me.
How's everything going?
It's good. Staying busy, so that's always good. And we're summertime's here, so that's the busiest season for us.
Agreed,
So
agreed,
very excited.
agreed, bro. I can say that like as you're right now, you're in Ohio or the Florida because I see you're growing your business in two different states. And in this podcast, I'm going to ask you because you're also very young. You're in university as well, and none other. I want to share one thing with you guys that he's also doing aviation, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes, correct.
That's
Correct.
amazing. That's amazing. And I noticed it in your even logo of Martin Photography. So there are wings. So like, does it represent the aviation? Are you passionate about it?
Yeah.
How you come into
Yeah.
that?
So I don't know if you can see it, but so
See,
it's like the aviation wings
okay,
that you get when you become a pilot. So because when I first started, it was my company was just focused on doing drone stuff. So I think
okay,
that's where it came from. Just because I just wanted to do drone photos and videos, and then I
right.
realized there's a lot bigger market if you do real estate, and you get paid a lot more, and there's a lot
Mhm.
more clients. Um, so I transitioned more into doing the real estate photography as well.
That's amazing. Okay, so moving on, like I want to ask you a couple of questions as in this podcast format we have planned it. Like we are going to ask you about how you come into this business, right? The whole journey and what are the benefits. We see that you're also using the virtual assistants from OnPoint as well, right? So I'm going to ask
Yeah,
you in those directions as well. So my first question to you would be, tell us a little bit about how you come into the real estate photography. I know you've noticed like you're from the drone to photography, but like what inspires you to come into real estate photography?
sure. So I don't think I really had anything inspire me other than I had an uncle that was a real estate agent.
Right.
So he's the one that kind of brought me into this world, per se. But I got my first drone for Christmas. I was maybe in seventh or eighth grade. I can't remember, but I was still
Okay.
quite young. And over in the United States, you have to get this license called your Part 107 through the FAA, just to do it legally. So I did all that, and then I did my first shoot for him.
Okay.
He specializes in commercial real estate, so
Right.
like big warehouses and all of that. So I did first aerial shoot for him. It was really good. I made probably $250 from that as like a 16-year-old. I was like, oh wow, this is great.
We see.
It was probably the most money that I've ever made. At 16, I was like, oh my
Right.
goodness. So then I
Right.
just started really learning it. And at that time, I just wanted to do aerial stuff. So I was reaching out to like golf courses, any like aerial stuff you could think. So definitely like realtors, but then like golf courses, like construction, roofing
Right.
companies, all this other kind of like just things you wouldn't think about that you could use drones for, different events,
Mm.
like weddings where they wanted drone photos, so stuff like
So,
that.
so like
So I did that, and got a lot of good clients from like country clubs with golf courses.
I see.
And then after that, I realized, well, you're going to get a lot more business shooting real estate, because I started working with a lot of realtors, but I didn't have the gear to do real estate photography like on the ground. And that's
Okay.
when COVID-19 hit.
Mm.
So that's like when a lot of people were looking at houses virtually. So I decided to really learn that aspect
Mm.
of stuff. I learned all that, and really my business took off at the start of COVID, March,
Oh,
April.
sign.
Um, so
Hmm.
that was 2020.
Right.
And ever since that, it's just been crazy busy. And now we have multiple photographers located in Cleveland. We have one that's from Cleveland, but he's moving to Florida. So we're
Okay.
expanding down here in Florida now.
Okay.
I'm located in Florida going to college. I run the business down here. I'm always traveling back and forth, running with meetings and realtors and all of that.
Right.
And that's pretty much it. And we're just constantly growing.
Amazing. That's amazing. And I see like a young, entrepreneur who's also studying in college as well and running the whole business and the team of the photographer. That's really amazing. Moving forward, I have a quick other question to you. That would be like, what was your first real estate shoot? Right? You already told me like your uncle give you that, but along with that, do you remember any memorable moment in the beginning of the shoots or like any funny story you remember at that time when you were 16 and you got $250 get paid? So like any moment you remember at that time?
Um, I don't think there wasn't really a memory at his shoot just because it was kind of like family and it was just kind of more for fun. But
Right.
I would say I remember my first like real estate like during COVID shoot, like when I really started like the real estate side of it.
Okay.
Um, and it's like when I knew nothing, I was really nervous, showed up to the house. It was one of the biggest like brokerages in Cleveland that gave me a chance. And we
I
still work
see.
with them today. They're one of our biggest clients. So it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's like 6 years now we've been doing houses for them. We've done hundreds and hundreds of houses now for them. But like the first one they gave me, it was a house with like no electricity. The house was under construction. So it's like the worst conditions you could ever shoot in. And they gave
Right.
it to me. So I was just
Hmm.
very nervous. And then adding those two things on top of it, the photos were horrible. I haven't looked at them in years, but I'm sure if I did, I'm probably too embarrassed to even pull them up. So,
At that
and
time, right?
it's probably a better idea if I just delete them so no one gets their hands on it.
I see, but I can say that that's the phase of learning, and like that's the transition where you are standing right now. If you did not start, then you cannot have at least that type of story after the years. So
Yeah.
that's pretty, like because that was a process, and the main
Yes.
crest of every journey is the process, not the
Yes.
destination.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what do you think make a property photo stand out in today's crowded market? So, what as a lead photographer, what are your thoughts on that?
Um, I think, well, you can't just take the photo with your iPhone. Like
Hmm.
a percentage of agents do now. It's not as many as we've seen three
Yeah,
or 4 years ago,
right.
because the agents understand the importance of, I guess, professional real estate photography. But there's a lot more real estate photographers in the space now because they know how, I guess, lucrative the business and how much money you can actually make in it. Like it's
Right.
very easy right now
Yes.
to get a handful of clients and make $100,000 in 1 year. Um,
Okay.
I
Amazing.
do not think it's difficult, but if you put in the work, you can do it definitely by yourself.
Def-
And then definitely if you're adding a team, you can make quite a bit of money. But along with that, I guess you're trying to not like just take photos of the house, but you're trying to tell the story of the house and walk people through, not just take a photo of a room and do different angles. Sorry.
Right.
Um, I think also you need to have great lighting in the house. Like I said, that first house I did, it was under construction and it had no electricity. So even there's some houses today we go into where there's no electricity, but
Hmm.
um, obviously there's not much you can do there. It's just the lights aren't, there's no electricity in the house. So there's,
You
what are you
need to
going to
add
do? We,
a lot more because of like these are the challenges of photography where you cannot get enough light to shoot because if someone is going to hire you, they expecting like you have to put some magic in it and like
right,
they're
right. We're the professionals. They're paying us a lot of money to come out and do this. So we're going to do our best. And
agreed.
also with that, just consistency across all the listings that we do for them. So like even though we have
Mm.
what I think four photographers in Cleveland, we have some
Okay.
part-time, but mainly it's four like guys that really show up to all these houses that they know their faces and know the
Yeah.
photographers. They
Mm.
still want to see the same quality of photos every time they book a listing. They don't want, well,
Okay.
Steven does a really good job, but maybe Will or so and so, they don't really care for his photos, so they really want Steven to show up and maybe not this other guy. So we want the consistency to be the same across all of the photographers. So it doesn't matter who shows up to the house, but the
Right.
photos look, you can't tell what photographer did it.
Agree. It's like,
And then
yeah, yeah.
and then just one last thing, I think just very good editing, but I think don't overdo the editing.
Yeah.
You can
Correct.
see, you can really tell on Zillow or whatever listing website you choose to use. But I think you can tell when some editors go not a I don't want to say above and beyond, but like they overdo the editing, and you can really tell, or like misrepresenting the house if there's cracks in the driveway, and you edit out the cracks, and then they show up to the clients show up to the house, and there's cracks all over the driveway, and there was nowhere to be found in the picture. So it's stuff
Correct.
like that. You want to be truthful in the pictures and show everything that's you're going to see at the house.
I totally understand. And as a media student, because I have done BS Media Studies, I know that the post editing can change the whole game of whatever you capture as a video, as a photo, right? So high-end editing is very important, right? I totally understand that fact. But yes, if you are overdoing it, it would be clearly visible. And I can say that, like, we remember there was a photographer we used to work. So like he edits those pictures in blue color, right? So he came to me and he told me like I made a mistake, and I was like, what happened? So he was like, actually, my editor turns the photos into a little more blue color. So when the property is about to sell, so they were like, this is what you're showing at the more blue color, but unfortunately there is nothing which we show in the like main like in a real world. So they were like, these are the mistakes which we have learned. So you're 100% right in that. Like, editing
Yeah,
is very important, but if you do it or overdo it, that is going to kill your market as well. Okay, moving forward. So can you walk us through your workflow of what goes into capturing the perfect shot of a listing? So like, if you have a little thought on that.
sure. So I think it all starts before you even get to the property.
Right,
So I'm really big on systems. So we have this ordering platform.
right,
Clients can go on, they can order their shoot. There's a website or there's a mobile app on your phone. The app
right,
store you can get.
right,
Once that happens, we go in, we schedule the shoot, do all that. It goes on the photographer's calendar, so the photographer can see it. They can either look at it the night before, the morning of, whatever. And so, so it's like the pre-shoot planning. So you need to know what gear you need, what you're going to be doing at the shoot. Um, Usually, every time we show up, it's always going to be photos and a floor plan, regardless of what you're doing.
I see.
99% of the time. And then if you're going to be putting your drone up, any
Right,
video stuff you're going to be doing, 3D tours, anything like that. So just planning on what you're really going to need at the shoot.
right,
Um, Once you get there, I like to do a walkthrough of the entire property, see what you're working with, not organize the house, but final touch ups, move the pillows, blankets to the way you want it.
mm,
There's stuff on the countertops. Try to put stuff in the cabinets, little soap bottles on the sink. Put them like inside the sink, so they're not showing in the pictures. They'll make the picture look better. The less stuff that's around, they'll
right,
just make the space look bigger, and that's what you want for real estate photos.
right,
Um, so next is just your lighting control. So like opening up all the blinds, turning on all the lights. So that's you're basically doing that as you're walking through the property, going room by room. And then you're just going through the entire house, taking interior, exterior photos. If you're doing the drone, you're going to do that while doing the exteriors. I guess a little tip of advice is
Mm.
If you're doing aerials at the property, you don't really have to do ground level exterior photos because you can do that with the drone at the same time. So it kind
That's
of
a good
saves you time.
for the photographers. I
Um,
mean,
so it could save you 10 minutes. And if you're doing 5 shoots in a day, there's an hour that you've just saved. So, and
yes.
there's an extra an hour is maybe a whole nother shoot that you could have done. So an extra 160, $200.
Yeah.
Um, so there's that. After that, either if I'm shooting the house or our photographers, you're going home, you're uploading that property or all of your properties into we use Dropbox, but whatever photo like transfer delivery you
Right.
use. And then we send all of our files over to our editors. They edit it, they get it to us the following morning.
Right.
It's all edited, and then I take a final review and look at it, make sure everything looks perfect. If it needs any additional edits, I'll edit it, make sure
Okay.
everything looks absolutely perfect. Obviously, I don't want to deliver photos without looking at it, make sure everything's fine.
Yes.
And then also with the videos and floor plans, just looking over everything and making sure everything's absolutely perfect. And then we deliver it into our order delivery system. And
Right.
then once we click the deliver button, they get a text and an email from us saying their stuff's been delivered and they can download, pay the invoice and all of that.
Agreed. 100%. I
Yeah.
totally understood, and I can say that your process can also help other photographers and other street photographers to like to streamline their systems as well. That's very engaging. Okay, so how the real estate photography you think in the last few years have evolved with the drones and the virtual tours, like now become more popular 3D tours. So what do you think like in past few years after COVID and during COVID, how this market have evolved?
Sure. So I think it depends on your location. Obviously, from where I started in Cleveland, I now live in Florida, and this is where I go to college. I do some shoots here,
Okay.
but obviously, I'm not doing shoots full time. I'm going to school and all of that. But we're starting to do more full time shoots here with our one photographer that's moving down. So I can talk about both locations. But as for Cleveland, it's like we're moving away from just photos on a house into more full marketing packages on a house.
I
So
see.
instead of just buying the basic $165 package, you're now
Right.
agents are spending more money on like videos, 3D tours, drones, whatever else you think you might need. But
Right.
also you need to think as for the agent side, if you don't need to spend $600 marketing the house, if you know it's going to sell and the house only
Right.
costs $250,000, it's gonna sell in 10 days. You don't need to
Agreed.
spend $600 to market the house if it's going to sell like this. But if
Agreed.
it's but if the property is $2 million, you are going to need to spend that extra money to try to market this house to show everything it does have to offer. And same thing with Florida. I think Florida, it's guaranteed that every house, well, I can't say guaranteed, but nearly guaranteed that every house will always have photos and aerials on
Yes.
the house. Just because Florida, you're most of the time you're showing off like there's tons of golf courses here, especially where I am, very
Mm.
close to the ocean. So you're showing
Right.
off the water and all of that,
Mm.
different lakes, just all their different
Agreed.
aspects of Florida.
Okay.
Um, Virtual tours, I think there's mixed opinions about that. During COVID, it was very popular just because
Right.
people weren't going to tour houses. So you could basically do it 24/7. The agent would just send you the virtual tour link or you'd find it on Zillow, whatever. And you could basically just walk through the house without even stepping foot. There would be some people that even buy the house without even going to the house. Now we we don't really do it. We don't do it that often. There's
Okay.
one brokerage that we work for that we still do it for every single house that we do work for them.
Right. Right.
And I think it's just their preference on their marketing style. Um, but I think it's being phased out a lot just because
Mm.
I think video is the way that
So, like videos
marketing
are
is going.
photos. Agree. Totally 100% right.
Yeah.
And that
And
that's
you can't really market.
Mm.
virtual tours on Instagram, Facebook, whatever social media platform you're using. You can really market videos.
Right.
Um, and then I also think
Mm.
agents want faster turnaround time and they have
Right.
higher expectations for everything now. Just
Right.
like how people go on Amazon, they want everything right away now. They don't
Exactly.
want to wait 3 days
Yeah.
or stuff like that. Agents want the photos. Like we'll do a shoot for like a couple days ago, we did a shoot for an agent. They texted us a couple hours after the shoot asking when we'd have the photos back.
Okay.
Um, so stuff like that. But like the standard is the following day.
Like
Um,
24-hour
now
time.
a lot of yeah, like the standard is 24 hours, but I think if you're not getting them to by the following morning, then you're kind of slacking on that part. So like I always try to get our
Mm.
photos out by 8 or 9 a.m. the following morning. Obviously, life happens and there you have meetings in the mornings and stuff like that. So sometimes it does get pushed back till 10 or 11 a.m. But
Mm.
majority of the time, we get all our stuff out by 8 or 9 a.m.
Right.
So yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay. So I can say that like my next question to you would be what kind of clients you typically work with? Are these more agents or like developers or homeowners or like agencies? So like what type of majority clients you currently working with?
Yeah, so majority of the clients are just standalone real estate agents.
Okay. Amazing.
Um, and then after that, it would be brokerages and like teams. So like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say specific names and
Right.
advertise, but I'd have to send them an invoice. But but like yeah, so like then you have the teams, and then you have also like builders and developers of like
Right.
the I call them cookie cutter houses, but like where they're just putting up a hundred houses in like one community. So
I
we'll do
see.
houses like that. And then you also have like the homeowners that are trying to sell the house themselves. So we'll do
Okay.
stuff like that. Um, like I did a house for like someone that's trying to sell it themselves, and I think they're selling it for like $1 million or something. So it's
Oh,
like people try to do it like that, but like we'll do stuff like that. We don't really care to do like photos for like homeowners just because they're never going to book with you again unless they sell their house again in maybe 5 years or stuff like
yeah.
that. So
Very
we like to
confident.
work with agents that are going to book again in
Right.
a month or 2 weeks or something like that.
Right. So you like provide assistance to everyone. You don't see whether it's an agency, agents, or homeowners, right? That's
Correct.
pretty cool. Okay, so now I will move to the next part of this, like podcast is we have been working together. You have been working with OnPoint since a long time now. And how has the lead generation and how OnPoint and we help you grow your business of real estate photography?
Yeah. So I think different from like a just a regular virtual assistant
Mhm.
compared to you guys is it's not a vendor. You guys aren't just a vendor. It's kind of like part of our team, um, but without like being an employee of us. But like I think you guys are treated the same way as an employee. Like
Yeah.
I don't see it any different. But like you're not just like a virtual assistant just giving busy work or something like that, like we've used in the past.
Yeah.
Um, I also think the lead generation is really good, and that creates like predictability with like ordering and I guess if you want to say like monthly revenue predictions,
Yeah.
you can project just different projections, and then I think just building out our social media. I know we just started the social media side, but we're
Yes.
excited to see that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And I think also just it gives you leverage to grow in different markets. So like right now we're just starting to grow in the Melbourne, Florida market. So we're going to see what we can do out there now.
Amazing. That's amazing. And like I can say that like these days we as we are also providing a virtual assistance to the real estate market as well. So that helps business owners and like as you own the business as well to grow the business, not just to like come on the operations only and like engage yourself, because you guys do in the field, like you go and get the photo shoot done, and in the back end agencies like OnPoint, right, we make everything for you guys, right? So thank you so much for that. And what difference does you feel when creative collaboration with marketing agency, right, in this niche? Like what difference you felt with us?
Um, let's see. I think I think you skipped like the whole learning curve when it comes with all of that.
Right.
Um, I think you get to focus on what we do best. You guys get to focus on what you guys do best. Obviously, the marketing and client outreach and all of that kind of stuff. We get to focus on. Like I enjoy more of the system stuff, taking phone calls from the agents. Uh,
Right.
like I said, I'm not really. I like to do a couple real estate shoots, but I don't like. I would not like to do it
Mm.
seven shoots in a day and doing that 5 days a week. But
Right.
our photographers love doing that. So it's
Right.
just you. It's just what you want to do, and what you're good at.
Mm.
And I think a lot of it just feels like a great partnership. It's not just like we're paying you money to do this every month
Agreed.
and just to get it done. It's like you're trying to build a part of the team and trying to know the process and
Agreed.
um, like
Stream.
how do you say it? Yeah, like streamline and you want to see the company grow and do well.
And that's what our ideology is, like not just to provide the services of virtual assistant, social media, and like designing. We actually involve with the companies, right, with their operations to grow, right? So that's how,
Yeah,
because I can say that post COVID, now it's like more of a collaboration rather than just like signing an MOU and giving the services. Because if you collaborate, both can grow together, right? So that these are the business models I can say now have evolved and shifted to in this new era, like digital world. So my few last 1 2 questions to you. We have short time as well, but you're in 20s, right, and you're already managing and running a real estate business. What advice you give to other real estate photographers, real estate owners, agents, to stay on the top? As I can say that, like in 20s you are doing an exceptional job.
thank you. I think number one, I think I see a lot of people they're afraid to start because they don't think they're ready. They don't have a website. They want business cards,
Mm.
flyers, all of that kind of stuff. I think just start before you think you're ready.
Right.
Um, just because you're not going to be ready.
Right.
Uh, you're going to be nervous. If you're
Mm.
nervous, that means you care and you want to do a good job. I think you're always going to feel like you're behind. Just keep on working. Like there's always something I have to do. I'm always working late into the night. Like, I've been traveling a lot this 1 month. I've been over in Hawaii, back
Mm.
to Cleveland, just doing tons of meetings and all of that. So I
Right.
think like came home yesterday and then all day I worked yesterday until like 10 o'clock at night. So I think
Right.
just catching up and you're not always going to be able just to hang out with friends, family, and do whatever you want. You're going to have to put in the hours of work.
I see.
Um, and then also focus on the relationships inside the business with clients, agents, realtors, builders, whoever you're trying to work with,
Mm.
whoever your target client is, not just your revenue goal of 20,000, 25, 30,000.
Yeah.
And then I think the last thing is like my age being younger, 22. I don't see it as a weakness. I think it's an advantage because
Exactly.
you have a longer time to grow. And I think agents see it as like it's a great thing to motivate you. So yeah,
Right. Agreed. And I can say that you have an exceptional and amazing entrepreneurial journey and you are really doing great in real estate photography. And like as you said, recently expanding all the operation in Florida, that's phenomenal, right? And I want to just in the end, I want to ask you where people can find you online, right? If you can quickly tell your business details to the people.
yeah. So our Instagram is Martin Photography RE. And that's mainly where we post everything. And then you can always look up our website. It's martinphotography.pro
That's
online.
That sounds good. And I can say that like other street photographers and those who are looking forward for creative ideas of the marketing, virtual assistants, you guys can reach out to us on OnPoint Creative Marketing Solutions. Our website is www.onpointcms.com, right? And as we have an exceptional story today, we are looking forward to take you guys on board as well. And thank you so much, Lucas, for your time. And I'm just going to wrap up with few words and I hope you had an amazing time with me.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time and big shout out to you for joining. And I can say that like I'm looking forward to see you all in the next episode. If you like that episode, please hit a like button, subscribe, and drop your comment. Right, and that's except more entrepreneurial stories we will bring on the OnPoint platform as well. And we are looking forward to collaborate and work globally in United States, America, Canada, Australia, right? And we all young entrepreneurs can change the digital world dynamics. All right, Lucas, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.